Welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Justin Riley, and we have a great show for you today. You'll want to stick around. We'll be learning about some financial planning advice from Trinity Financial, plus some great food tours that are going on here in the Madison area from Madison Eats, and where to buy the best outdoor patio furniture. So it's a great show coming up. But first, I'm joined by our friends Julie Sheldon and Terry Weiland from Center for Families. Welcome to the program, ladies. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
So first of all, Terry, tell us a little bit about Center for Families.
Well, Center for Families is a local nonprofit here in Madison on Fordham Avenue. And we have 8 different programs. They're kind of broke down into 3 different categories. We have some that are in-home programs, so we go into people's homes and we work with them. We have some that are classroom programs, and those are mostly our parent education classes. And then we also have the respite program at Center for Families. And our main focus in the in-home programs are school readiness, so we work a lot on literacy and getting children ready for school, and we're really working on closing the achievement gap here in Dane County. And then our parent education works with the Love and Logic curriculum, and we have other curriculums that we work on, but that's the main focus of our parent education. And then the respite program has individual programming that they do within that program.
You guys have such a great variety of programs that are such great services for the community. That's awesome. That's very awesome. So your agency relies very heavily on volunteer support. What are the biggest needs, or what would you say the biggest needs are for volunteer support right now? What areas do you need volunteers in? So
you're right, we do rely very much on volunteers. It's in the nonprofit world, it's funding is difficult, and so volunteers have a very big role in our agency. And right now, our agency is really looking for volunteers to work in our parent education classes. So we have our Love and Logic classes, and they're primarily in the evening, but we have several sites in the community that we're in. But where we need volunteers is we don't have childcare for them. And so it's very difficult for young families to come in and receive the support and education when they themselves don't have a very large support system. And so in order to come to the classes, they have to have somebody to take care of their children. And we really can't have children in the classes because we are talking about child rearing, and so you're giving away all the answers that way. So we really, yes. So on our, again, we're in several locations in the community, but everywhere that we're at, there's a nice play area for children, indoor, outdoor. So there's a great area that they can be close by, where that volunteers can help care for them, but their parents are just a few doors down if there's a need be. But we really, really need childcare volunteers. It's not something that's funded really by any of our funders, and so it is strictly based on volunteers, and it's really important. We're losing people for them to come to these classes because we don't have volunteers to help care for their children.
Because they can't find anybody to take care of their kids. So yeah, very important. So talk to us about some of the other program-specific areas where you need volunteers.
So one of the other really needs that we have is in our Play and Learn group. So we have Play and Learn in many areas of Dane County. So we have some right on Fordham. We have 3 there a week. We're on the west side of Madison, we're in Sun Prairie, and we're on the south side. And so those groups can vary. It's a drop-in group, again, a school readiness program. We can get as many as 25 children and their parents coming in, and we have 2 staff members almost always at each site. But even with 2 staff members, when you have 50 plus people, 25 kids, that's a lot of people. So we need volunteers to help mingle, to help, some of the parents that are coming in, they have 3 kids. So when one child's going one way and another child's going another way, they could use an extra hand. We could use an extra hand with some of the activities that we're doing. So that is another really big area that we could use volunteers for. And those tend to be morning hours. Parents' Place is evening hours. So we can kind of fit anybody in who's looking for a volunteer experience for that. I think that one of the things that's really important is that these volunteers are giving parents a break in what they're doing too.
Yeah, absolutely. Julie, we just have a few seconds left, but I'm wondering if you can talk to us a little bit about some of the maybe non-program specific volunteer opportunities that are available.
There are a lot of volunteer opportunities, a variety of tasks, anywhere from, Terry already mentioned the child care, but transportation is a big need. We have special fundraising events. We have opportunities that are really geared for groups to come in, whether it's building maintenance or helping us with, example, we have a brat stand at every UW home football game. It's great for groups to come in and volunteer with us to help raise some money. If people want to do anything from office support, we'll find a niche.
You'll find something. So if they go to your website, they can find some information.
Yeah,
so.
In fact, if on our website we have a how to help page, and there's volunteer contact information, but there's also volunteeryourtime.org, which will have current opportunities listed as well.
Awesome. Julie Sheldon and Terry Weiland from Center for Families, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't go away. When we come back, financial planning advice from Trinity Financial. Let's talk to the town. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. My next guest is going to talk to us a little bit about comprehensive financial planning. John Shearer from Trinity Financial Planning joins us now. John, welcome.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, good to have you. So talk to us a little bit about what you guys do over at Trinity Financial Planning.
Sure, we're a fee-only comprehensive financial planning firm with an emphasis on tax planning. And we believe that planning is a process, not an event, so our core service is ongoing financial consulting for clients, helping them to navigate their financial lives. And being fee-only means that we don't sell any investments or insurance, we just do consulting work for clients.
Right. Strictly consulting then.
That's correct.
Very cool. So, when dealing with investments, should people think of your services in that area as similar to working with a financial advisor or brokerage firm?
It's similar in that we help people make trades and manage their money, but the big difference is that we work as fiduciaries for our clients, which is a fancy way of saying that we're obligated to act in our client's best interests.
Yes.
And it's sort of similar to, I relate it to if you're going to buy some meat, you go to the broker, to the butcher shop, and you talk to the guy there and you say, "Hey Pete, I'm looking for some meat for my dinner," and you trust that guy. He's going to get you the right piece of meat, but he's not going to suggest that you go buy some fish or some nice, some vegetables instead of having a meat dish. And if you want advice on how you should structure your meals, you go to a dietitian or a nutritionist, and that's sort of how we work. We're more on the nutritionist type side of things rather than just focusing on the product.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense then. That's a good analogy.
Well, thanks.
I like that. I like that very much. So now, what about on the tax side? Is your work there similar to a CPA or other tax preparer?
We do prepare taxes for clients, and so from the standpoint of entering the data and getting the taxes done in the spring, yes. The difference with what we do is we try to do proactive planning for people and try to give them advice before tax time comes. And so we'll ask people, when's the last time that your tax person came to you and said, "Hey, I've got an idea, I think it's going to save you some taxes next spring, let's talk about it in the fall." Very rarely, those are some good people to have, and that's what we try to do is get out in front of those things for clients.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you give me an example of what you might say to somebody like, well before tax time, "Hey, I've got an idea that might save you some money come to tax time"? Well,
sure. We had a client that came in a while back, and he was bringing his son into his business since they were buying a bunch of equipment. And when they first came into us, they had a corporate tax guy and a personal tax person and two different investment folks they're working with. And so I said, there was a couple that was in, and I said, so what are you going to do about the depreciation? You can take it all in 1 year or spread it out. And he kind of looked at me and I said, well, if you take it in 1 year, maybe we can take some money from your IRAs and turn them into Roth IRAs at a very low tax rate. And I remember his wife saying, "Jim, write this down, and he said, well, geez, my guys aren't, the corporate guy didn't know what the personal situation was, and neither one of them was talking to the investment folks. And so the year before, he had put some money away and saved, he was saving money at 30% tax rate.
Sure.
We took it out at a 10% tax rate, and so on about $50,000, we saved 20% in taxes. So it was about a $10,000 tax savings just by looking at all the pieces.
Yeah, that's a big chunk of change right there.
Yeah.
I'd love to have extra $10,000 in my pocket at the end of the year. So good. So, many people have an investment person who also does their taxes. Are there benefits to working with two different ones or having one person handle both?
So we handle both of them, so it's our,
Right.
so we're not the unbiased subject on that, but the example that I just gave, that's the reason why we really think having one person, at a minimum, the financial planning side, I think, needs to understand the tax side, because it's really hard to give advice on, what you should do with your, putting money into your 401k or into a brokerage account or buying a rental property if we don't understand where the tax side of things are, because all those pieces are intertwined. And when you move one part, two other parts move from the tax or investment standpoint, and just being able to have a handle on all of that, I think, is really important.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure that you get a lot of requests, for advice and tips when people find out what you do. So if you were to give our viewers a set of advice or a set of tips, or one tip even, what would it be?
It's funny, when people hear I'm in the financial world, the first question they ask is, well, how is the market going to do, or what's going on with that? And investment performance is important, but it's way down the line as far as things that determine financial success. And so we talk to people about the 5 fundamentals of fiscal fitness, very alliterative. And we've got those on our website if people want to go there, but the 2 big ones that we really talk about are paying yourself first, which means putting money into your 401k, your retirement plan through work, and making that be long-term permanent savings. And the other one is staying out of consumer debt. Don't get into the credit cards, don't be paying interest on car loans, those sorts of things. You can make a lot of other mistakes. You can pick the wrong investments. You can stub your toe in a lot of places. But if you do those 2 things and the other 3, you're successful. You're going to be okay.
Right.
If you don't do those 2 things, it's really, really difficult to overcome. You can pick the best investments, but if you're not saving enough money and you're getting into a credit card, you're paying interest at those high rates, it's just so hard to get ahead. So it's not very sexy, but it's the basics. That's the stuff that really works.
Right. Keep yourself from getting poor before you start to get rich.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
John Shear from Trinity Financial Planning, thank you so much for joining us today.
You bet. Thank you.
Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to be talking with someone from Madison Eats. We'll have some great food here. You won't want to miss it. It's Talk of the Town. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. If you haven't been hungry thus far today, you will be after our next guest. I'm joined now by Otelia Cassidy from Madison Eats. Welcome, Otelia.
Thank you.
So you're going to be talking to us a little bit about some food tours that are available to us here in Madison. Talk to us exactly, what is a food tour?
A food tour is a way for people to sample and taste the food in their community, and it's a way to connect them to the food scene in their community. So.
Yeah. So I mean, when you're talking about these food tours, I mean, is this a tour that's on a trolley, on a bike, a limousine? What are we talking about?
We have different modes of transportation. Primarily, they're walking and biking food tours.
Very
so we'll
cool.
go through a neighborhood and stop at 4 to 5 places and sample the food.
Very cool. Very cool. That sounds good. And you've got some food that you brought here. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, I wanted to entice you a little bit more. This is from one of the restaurant partners that I work with, Batch Bakehouse on Williamson Street. And it's just to show you that when you go on the food tour, you definitely get some amazing food. But more than that, you get to experience and get to know some of the places more intimately. So for example, when we go to Batch Bakehouse, the owner comes out and talks to us about the process of making the food and what goes into it. And you really get to feel the passion behind the chefs and the food producers in our community.
Very neat. Very neat. So they actually get a little bit of an education as well as being able to taste the food.
Exactly.
Very
exactly.
nice. So, talk to us a little bit about some of the types of food tours that you offer.
So primarily I offer walking food tours, and I like to go into the east side neighborhoods like Atwood and Williamson Street, and also around the Capitol. There's a lot of, aside from great food, there's some really great historical interest in those neighborhoods in geology, so we learn a little bit more intimately about your neighborhood. I also partner with B-Cycle to do B-Cycle brunch tours,
Sure.
and that's really fun. We bike around, have some cocktails, and go to about 4 different places to eat brunch food.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So you talked about hanging out on the east side on Atwood Avenue. How do you choose the restaurants and the neighborhoods that you're partnered with for Madison Eats?
Well, it's almost hard to narrow it down,
Right.
actually. But it's really important to me to support and work with the restaurants that are locally owned and that support our local producers. That's not hard to come by now. That seems to be quite the norm in a lot of these communities. The chefs work closely with the farmers and other producers. So I choose restaurants that really show our diversity that we have in our community of types of food and different producers.
Yeah, diversity being the key word there. That's very good.
Yes.
Very good.
So sometimes it's breweries and sometimes it's ethnic restaurants,
Yeah.
bakeries.
Absolutely. So how often do you do these food tours?
During the warmer season, so April through October, I run them pretty regularly, and people can find those dates on my website. And they're weekly right now. During the colder season, I offer private food tours. So people, even if it's a dead of winter, if you want to do a food tour, I'll help organize one for you. But I don't offer them weekly at that time because it's a little bit harder to get the crowds motivated.
Yes, yeah, of course, yeah. So you mentioned a little bit about how the chef will come out and talk a little bit about the process for making the food and things like that. So there's an educational kind of component to it. But beyond that and sampling food, is there more to it than just the sampling of the food for food tours?
Well, I think that is a really big part of it, the connecting with the food producers and the neighborhood, meeting those people. That makes it, a really intimate experience, and it helps people to feel more connected to their own community. And so it's a way to just enjoy, even maybe you love a restaurant, but you didn't really understand what went into that process of cooking the food. So it makes a person feel more connected. And it's also a way just to connect with other people. Maybe you'll meet some new friends on the tour, or you're at a family outing, and it's just a new way to enjoy the people that you like to spend time with.
Connect with food, connect with people. That could be your new tagline right there.
There you go. Thanks. I might
welcome.
take you up on that.
Yeah.
I'll trade you some.
Sounds good. We'll do it on
croissants
a
for
barter
that.
deal. So that would be great. So why? When you talk to people who go on these food tours, what is their motivation? What do they ever say what brought them to you to take them on the food tours?
Well, I think for a lot of people, it is a way to experience their own town in a new way. So maybe you've gone to, the downtown restaurants forever, but you just don't know where to go on Atwood Avenue.
Right.
And so it's a way to kind of expand your horizons. And for a lot of people, it's also about just getting together again with friends or their own family to do something fun together. I often have moms' nights out where a group of moms will come out to sample food, maybe get a drink and do
Very
something
cool.
different.
Otelia Cassidy from Madison Eats, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Their website is MadisonEats.com. Check it out. Go on a food tour in your neighborhood. Don't go away. When we come back, we'll be talking with Tony Milanig from Chalet Ski and Patio. It's Talk of the Town. We'll go in 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. My next guest is Tony Milanig from Chalet Ski and Patio. Tony, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
So, I'm really excited to be talking with you because your business has really flourished, even through the recession. You've done really well. And I'm wondering if you can kind of give us some background and history about your company that helps define who you are and I guess what's made you so successful in the Madison market.
Well, back in 1983 when we opened the first store at Hilldale, there was no internet, there were very few big box retailers, and the retail stores in Madison were mostly managed and owned by local people. And consumers, were dependent on us to give them suggestions and guidance. And a few years after that, 10 years later, we moved out to Verona Road where we are now with bigger space, and it's allowed us to do more things and offer more products.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously with the name of Ski and Patio in your title, you have some pretty specialized products that you offer. Can you tell us a little bit more about the merchandise that your store carries and also how you're able to remain so specialized throughout the whole year?
Well, in the wintertime we carry all types of downhill and cross-country ski equipment and winter clothing and snowshoes. In the summertime, we carry outdoor furniture for porch areas, patios, swimming pools, you name it. Both businesses are very seasonal, but they are very compatible, and we sort of have the same customer coming in all the time, year-round. And both industries require a lot of personal experience and pretty specialized services.
As far as the knowledge going into, being able to help the consumer or the customer coming in.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. You have to really know a lot to be in these industries.
Really? Okay. Very good. Very good. And give us some examples of some of the products or services or where that knowledge and experience can come into play when helping, people find the right product for them that kind of sets you apart from other folks that do the same thing that you do.
Well, in the wintertime, we go to Canada to buy ski wear. The Canadians embrace winter. There's ski wear manufacturers up there that are very unique and special. We send a team of people out west every year to test skis so that we're confident that every ski on our wall does what it's supposed to do. We offer custom boot fitting. We deal with a lot of foot anomalies, and we also have some unique brands that are what we call proprietary brands, that are things that we've developed for our store, like a snowshoe line and a cross-country ski line.
Wow, so you guys actually do some product testing within your store.
Yeah, we send a team of people out, and we ski all the brand names that everybody's familiar with, but the real reason we do it is we look for the new and up-and-coming companies, and we're able to ski their products and test their products side by side with the big brands that everybody is already familiar with, and we pride ourselves in finding the new, unique, up-and-coming companies that are sort of off the beaten trail a little bit.
Very cool. That's very cool. So, you know, we talked a little bit about the ski equipment. Can you talk to us a little bit about some of the outdoor furniture that you sell, and you know, what makes you different from other outdoor furniture stores?
Well, we are what we call a direct merchant. We purchase and go directly to factories. We don't buy through importers. We don't buy through distributors or middlemen. We work directly with the factory. That enables us to have a little bit of control and a little influence on the designs. And we carry the highest quality brands that are available in the USA, and we kind of showcase them in our store. We do a lot of custom work, from customized marble tabletops, special bar height chairs for people. We have over 1,000 different fabrics to choose from in our store for outdoor use, so we really focus on special things for people.
And you mentioned before that you have sort of your own line or your own brand of winter type equipment. Do you have the same type of thing for summer products?
Actually, we do a little more of it in the summertime. I would say over 50% of everything that we carry in the summertime is direct source, things that we have custom made for our company. And usually consumers hang on to furniture for much longer than they do a pair of skis. It becomes a part of their life. It's handed down through the generations. So we really go to great lengths to source raw materials, to develop specialized furniture products for outdoor use that you can't find anywhere else. In fact, we have many things in our store that are not available anyplace else in the country or the world because we had them custom made for us.
Sounds like I need to get over there.
I think you should. The weather's good. Time to come.
Absolutely. Well, Tony Milanek from Chalet Ski and Patio, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And that's all the time that we have for Talk of the Town. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.